Football with friends. It's fun as hell. My name is Alex Dunlap. Oh man, how pumped I am to be here today. Gosh, man, a victory Monday here. Feels good to say, man. As far as the Big 12 championship, Texas does indeed control its own destiny, and all they got left is Tech. We're going to talk about that. Just control of the destiny, what exactly that means. I know that there's a million different college football playoff discussions going on. It's probably best left up to it breaks my brain even thinking about what all the Big 12 tiebreakers are. Don't even get me started about the cockamamie college football playoff. We have Sark's availability today that we'll talk about, some things to get to from there. My whole week is gotten compressed now into these like today and tomorrow. So I had to start on the deep dig yesterday, so I'm already like way done with the defense. I'm actually onto the offense now. So I mean, we can talk about it at all. Only 2 shows this week, so we're gonna need to get to all of it eventually. So it's just like kind of like I always say on Wednesdays or Thursdays. Once I'm through with the games, man, you guys can ask me whatever questions that you want. There could be some questions on offense that I might not be able to answer just yet because I'm not finished. Certainly done with the defense. We'll go over those numbers. If you didn't notice, T'Vondre Sweat played a pretty good game. T'Vondre Sweat, who I saw on now, it's a cockamamie list because it was On 3 that put it up. Generally cockamamie company, but my goodness, they have T'Vondre Sweat in their top 10 for the Heisman. It's just, golly, I should actually pull that up. Let me just go here. Look on Twitter real quick. Oh, I can't get rid of that because here's the other thing. The seniors who are walking, right? They have this in the game notes. Some interesting names as far as the seniors who are going to be walking here this weekend. Blake, what does that even mean? Does that mean they can't come back? It doesn't mean they can't come back.
No, they can definitely still come back. Walking doesn't mean anything.
Well, it kind of means you're not coming back. Like Byron Murphy's walking.
Pretty sure we've had guys that walked and came back.
Yeah.
Now, that might have been during like the COVID era where there were some weird, are they going to get an extra year kind of deal? But yeah.
Yeah. I think it's generally a sign that dudes are leaving, especially if they're underclassmen and they walk. You know what I mean?
Yeah. For sure.
The thing about Byron
Murphy, an outlier that somebody would think about coming back after that.
Yeah, the thing about Byron Murphy though is I was pleased to see in the game notes provided by Bianco and such. As I just saw this, T'Vondre Sweat, he has accepted his invite to the Senior Bowl, so he will be there. As I'm searching here for so the On 3 Heisman power rankings. Do you agree? 1 is they have Jaden Daniels, the LSU quarterback. 2, they have Bo Nix. 3, they have Marvin Harrison Jr. 4, they have Michael Penix. 5, they have Carson Beck. 6, they have Jalen Milroe. 7, they have Romu Dunze. 8, they have Malik Neighbors. 9, they have T'Vondre Sweat. 10, they have a Michigan D lineman, Kenneth Grant. And unfortunately, I don't know much about Kenneth Grant, but golly, man, T'Vondre Sweat, that sure did escalate quickly. Cody and I would come on this show, and he would say, you know, what T'Vondre Sweat needs to do to make himself a first-round pick is have one of these kinds of things, like one of these games where just the whole nation's watching and he kind of takes over a football game and stuff. Well, that's happened a few times now, and it's funny. This last game, you know, it wasn't even Sweat's most productive game. It's just everybody notices him now, and they show like little clips of him walking in the stadium wearing all this like iced out, you know, big medals. But Blake, did you see Jonathan Brooks's ice that he was wearing? My gosh, that guy's picked up a bunch.
I didn't see that one. I saw the make him sweat, T'Vondre Sweat giant.
It's almost like the stuff that Jay Brooks wears. I guess for the kids, this super flashy style of this stuff is probably back. It seems like a phase that's, you know, I watched all the college football and NFL football and stuff. It's felt like just recently I've started seeing a lot more jewelry and bling. I think it's kind of coming back. I think that it kind of makes things more fun. But Jay Brooks, man, Jay Brooks is we at some point during the show, I'll see if I can get that pulled up. What's up, dude? What's up to everybody in the chat, man? Cole BS says Texas Prize Picks numbers are already up. Yeah, Blake told us that in Slack. That's another thing. I'll add it here onto the Texas Prize Picks. Added onto the Alpha Male show sheet for the day, the handwritten show sheet. So we have Cole BS. Jay Ward, how are you doing, sir? Sitting by the fire on a cold and rainy Monday in Tennessee. It's about beer 30. That sounds great, except for the rain. I hope you have a rainproof jacket there. Money B, how are you doing, sir? So good to see you. Craig Simlinger, it is indeed fun as hell. Christopher Lyons, he's going for the corner. Good to see you, man. Oh gosh, he was 9 minutes early. Well, I'm sorry for being about 45 seconds late, dude. Let's see. Who else do we got here? So, dude, it's just Christopher Lyons, and he's going for the corner, just going back and forth. Mitchell Marcus, so good to see you. Uncle Mickey, great to see you. Texas 56, great to see you, my friend. He says this is the one game where Sark needs to score 100, and to me, I wrote this in my reactions column to Sark's press conference. This would be, I mean, Texas just needs to get the win, right? Like the shit.
That's the thing. All week we could sit here, and obviously we're not going to have shows the whole week, but we could be saying, "Oh man, Texas needs to score 40 on them." But if Tech went up 7-0 in the game, we'd be like, "Just win,
just win, dude.
Game. It doesn't matter. Screw all that."
I think it kind of. You know, I think that there's I don't even know. I'm not even going to talk about it. I've seen how people get step in it whenever they try and talk about these tiebreakers, as we saw over the weekend.
Nobody knows. Nobody knows. The Big 12 doesn't know.
Not mention anything about any reporters. But look, like you guys know, I'm not even a guy that minds. I'm not even a guy that minds the math stuff, and it breaks my brain to think about this stuff. Okay, so he's going for the corner. All right, so he's answering the question. So it was the rest of the teams playing. He was keeping it safe because it was an away game. They probably didn't want to leave it in their lockers. I was like, Jay Brooks, man, really? He's like, he must have got an agent like that. He's going pro for sure, dude. Okay, well that makes a lot more sense. See, man, I learned as much from the chat as you guys could ever learn from me. We got Sandman in the chat. We got Sam Hayes, Gary, Big Daddy Lewis doing the great work for us this Thanksgiving. Oh man, just so happy to see all you guys, man. Longest horn, everyone. Thanks so much for being here. If you could always remember to please like the show, subscribe to the channel. I know most of you guys are probably subscribed, but if you're new here, take a second to do that. That would definitely be helpful. Blake, I'm going to see if I can.
Chris N has a great chat here. The Big 12 will decide on the tiebreaker after this weekend's results.
Dude, it almost. Oh, dude. I mean,
what were you saying?
Like, it feels like a giant swindle. Let me see here. Let me see if I can share this. Because hey man, my buddy Steve Palazzolo from Cockamamie PFF, he tweeted out this he tweeted this thing out. Can you even see this if I play it? What if I make it into full screen? Can you see it? Can you see this pretty well?
Yeah.
Okay, so here's my question: what is your favorite part of this play? Hold on, let me turn the volume down. It is football with friends, after all.
Oh my gosh!
The worst play in football.
Is that the original jump pass?
I don't know.
Is that the first one?
Just tell me what your favorite part is, because like he asked what's your favorite part, and a million things came to my mind. I think the first thing I noticed is number 72 not taking a single step through the whole football play. Right? He doesn't do anything. Right? I'm gosh!
At this phenomenal play by the linebacker to save the touchdown. look at how he shuffles to the right, sees where the ball's going, knocks it down.
Look at the cameraman back here, just chilling in the end zone. Look and watch this dude. Check him out, where he bounces off 75 and just gets at the very end. Not much protection for the quarterback back then. The ball is already gone, and he's slapping him in the head. Look at this guy, unbelievable. And then what about right here?
Is this like a cranny free throw shot? Yeah.
Is this is number 62 the left guard? Look at the left guard. He just falls straight down and doesn't do anything. What is he doing? So it's not just the fact
that he's hitting it. Is he laying it? No, he's laying on top of a guy. I think he.
Oh, okay, all right. So the guy went
He
down low and he
pancaked
just
that
landed on
guy.
top of him. Oh man, oh gosh, man, things were just going great. Things
What
were
an
going great
incredible
with football
play.
back then. My God, dude, this was 1933. And they say that people make fun of the.
The thing is, we're talking about the cameraman being in the end zone. He was in no danger of being a part of the play. He's so far in the backfield, because they're not going to throw it more than 3 yards. There's not going to be a play in the back of the end zone.
He said right tackle's not doing a thing. The best part's the cameraman chilling in the end zone. Looks like Hufford out there. Oh man, I got a surprise for you guys, man. I did a deep dig on Hufford, 54, the left guard.
Can't wait.
for Iowa State when I was doing the defense. I'll give you a little preview of that, man. He didn't have the best score ever. Okay, but dude, it would have been even worse if he won up going. He got to go up against Trill Carter a lot more than that other guard. It was that other guard that got Sweat so much, man. Sweat was lined up on the left side of the on the left side of the the defense's left side, so the offense's right side a lot more often. If you can kind of close your eyes and put the game in your mind's eye, you probably remember that sort of being the fact. But he got gotten after even by Barron Sorrell, Byron Murphy, Trill Carter, some of these dudes. Christopher Lyons said the German Munster almost intercepted it. I don't even know what a German Munster is, but kind of.
You mean to say Herman?
Oh, Herman.
Herman
Munster. Okay.
Yeah.
The let's see. Did Michael, my business say, did Bowles write his first story on this? Bowles has. Bowles wasn't writing stories in 1933, but what was he saying? What was he saying when he started at the Statesman? He's been at the Statesman since he's like 18 years old. I mean, I forgot. We had him on here for an interview. I think even might have said he started in the 60s or something, man. Like he started a long time ago. Yeah. So it's like, as far as, so I've been, so we have the so we'll have his deep dig grade. We'll have the Texas prize picks. Your questions, if you got them, just put them in chat. I'll answer them. If you put them in super chat, we'll get to them immediately. Also, I want to hear about the best Black Friday deals. I keep getting emails all day long about texts saying this is our biggest sale of the year, and it's for brands that I like. The brands I enjoy. I know like Kuiu has one where they have some stuff up to 50% off. I like First Light Gear. They have some stuff that they're doing this week for up to 50% off. But there's this sunglass company that I Blake, have you ever heard of Bomber Eyewear? It's all eyewear, but it's just I think they're out of Hawaii or something like that, but they make their sunglasses, they float, so it's really good for you if you fish or if you if you're it's kind of like this hat. Like this hat is made by Finn. That's another cool company, but the reason it's kind of puffy is because it's a floating hat. It can't drown. But those bomber shades, man, they're also protective eyewear. They have like padding on the outside. Here, I'll show you. They have this padding here on them to where and here on the inside. So whenever whenever you're doing work outdoor, and then they have the polarized frames where they're reinforced in the way to where you can use them for like chainsaw work and all this stuff, and they don't rattle around on your face. It keeps the padding there, keeps anything from flying into your eyes. But anyway,
good pair of shades.
They sent me an email today saying that they're doing like 50% off. I just want to hear if you guys know if any cool.
I think tortillas are on sale this Black Friday.
Those are but I'm being serious. Like, I'll bet you there are always deals where things are marked way off, man. Those are the three I've heard about: First Light, Kuiu, and Bomber Eyewear. If you guys have any that you think are awesome, man, let me know, because I'm very much into consuming during times when I can get things for cheap, because I'm very, 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 very frugal and not a very rich man.
Of course.
Okay. Let's see. I wanted to talk a little bit though about the seniors that are walking. Okay, so, and just I'm just gonna read them out, and half these guys are Yeah, hey, look, man, we only have 2 days. We have a lot to get to. At some point, we needed to talk about the fact that it's senior day and the seniors are walking. So let's just get to it, okay? Paxton Anderson, the wide receiver, he's a walk-on. Gus Azel, he's a tight end. He's walking. Jade Barron, of course, we know he's gone. Patrick Bayouth. So he's actually a guy who plays at least sometimes. You might have seen him. He's the tight end, number 48. Hadn't played as much this year, but certainly has in the past. Oh, I got a fruit fly. Jet Bush is walking, so you've probably getting close to seeing the last of him. What about this one, Blake? Trill Carter is walking. You think that means he's done?
Yeah.
I kind of do.
Yeah.
And it's not a giant not a giant loss, but it's more how should I say? It's just more uncertainty about what the defensive line will look like next year.
Well,
I think it's going to be. Well, no, I'm not saying it's bad.
Another Trill Carter in the portal.
I absolutely 100%.
There are dozens of those guys.
I 100% agree, but it does add uncertainty because we're uncertain about who that's going to be. Right. Jalen Catalon is walking. Of course, we knew that. And let me tell you guys something. I've never seen as miserable as 6 snaps in my life as the 6 snaps that Jalen Catalon came in and played versus Iowa State. I have never seen 6 miserable snaps. It's just, Gideon saw it too, and he just got him right out, and he's just like, you're not going back in because you're like either you're playing hurt or you're just not like. Go back and watch his 6 snaps. I'll tell you when it was. It was oh gosh, I can't believe I'm already this. See, and people are going to say, Alex, why can't you get the deep dig done by Tuesday night or Wednesday with everything moving forward? And the reason why is because I'm like, there's no way I'm usually going to give up my Sundays of just undivided attention on NFL football. It's like there's no way this week I just have to because I do care more about getting out in a ground blind and probably not seeing anything, but I don't care. I don't care, Blake. It doesn't matter. I got to try. It's in my blood. All right. If I look at the participation, I'll tell you exactly when he came in. Just go watch the fourth defensive series of the game. Watch those 6 plays. Money B says he missed at least 1 tackle. Money B, he did, yes, but he also made maybe 2 tackles. It was at least 1 tackle, and yeah, I think the other one might have been a miss, but there were 3 times where it was just like he didn't even try to wrap anybody up. He literally just falls on the ground at a dude's ankles and like tries to roll into him. It's like, what? It's like he's forgotten everything he's ever learned about football. He looks nothing like the Jalen Catalon that we saw as a sophomore at Arkansas that just took the world by storm. You figured that there would still be at least some vestige of that, and there just didn't. I mean, I hate to bash on a guy, but it's probably it's like the worst thing I've seen all year across the offense, the defense, anything involving Texas. It's just not up to Texas standard anymore for a guy to play like Catalon did in that game. Let's see. Hold on. Did Jay Ward get something? Oh, from Wednesday through Sunday, nothing but eating, smoking a turkey, sitting in a deer stand, and drinking beer. Well, that feels a little bit kind of like me, except get rid of the stuff about the turkey. I won't be eating that. I'll be taking some ribs and stuff out. I'm gonna stop at Cooper's in Llano and just load up.
My family was talking about doing the same exact thing.
It's delicious.
Go to Cooper's in Llano.
Where are you guys having Thanksgiving?
Horseshoe Bay is where they live.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Oh, that's great, man. You never told me your parents were rich. My God, Blake. Jeez, Horseshoe Bay, man. Oh, well, good for you. And congrats on the generational wealth. Let's see. Jay Ward says he's smoking some backstrap too. All right, good to hear, Jay Ward. Alfred Collins is walking. He's done. He is, he's going to the Senior Bowl, right? Keaton Crawford is walking. He's done. I'm not going to say it. I mean, I'm sure he's a great guy. Jalen Ford walking. He's done. David Benda walking. He's done.
Mm-hmm.
Sawyer Gorham Welch is walking. So he won't be back at Texas. Now, do you think he'll want to? Nah, Blake, he ain't coming back. He's gone. That poor guy's gone from guard to
Yeah.
nose tackle to now backup center to. I mean, he's 13. Like he's now behind. Well, here's the thing about center. Jake Majors is walking. Does that strike you at all as being interesting?
Majors.
Strikes me as very interesting.
So Majors could come back next year. I didn't.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm so lost.
All these guys think. I mean, we'll pull up your scholarship board to make sure I'm not crazy.
No, you're probably right. I haven't looked at the scholarship.
But I mean, any of these guys that played in the year, he played in the year 2020, didn't he?
Gosh, it just feels like he's been here forever. But I think you're right.
He could.
He is a fourth year, but he redshirted, right? Yeah, so he is technically a junior. He could come back. Gosh, it feels like Jake Majors has been on this team for a decade.
I mean, has anybody this whole time thought to themselves that Jake Majors was not coming back for the 2024 season? It's something that's never crossed my mind. It's a topic that I hadn't really thought about, and like we said, just because they're walking, it doesn't mean, and if I had more time this week before, like if this were a regular week where I had a little bit more time, I'd have gone and looked and said like, all right, well, this guy walked before and then he came back, or this guy, maybe you guys know, right? Like examples of dudes who walked and then came back. Gabriel Aguilar says that he lives in Marble Falls. Man, I live not too far from you, brother.
Yeah, there you go.
You live right between me and Blake's rich parents. Let's see.
Anyway, Hacker sent us a super chat. Hold on, $2. Hey friends, hit the like button. Appreciate that.
Oh, thank you, man. Hacker with the super chat. So good to see you, brother. Yes, man. If you guys could please click like. It is indeed free. Also, subscribing is indeed free. Or Blake, we getting close to 18,000 already? I think we are.
17.5, something like that.
17.5. Look, man, we're marching our way towards 18,000. We're still a young channel, man. We're still growing. But yeah, so happy to see over 100 of you guys in the chat, man. It's going to be a great show today. It is of course fun as hell.
Every subscription today is an added 1% chance that Texas makes the playoff. From what I've heard.
Yeah. If you subscribe, it gives Texas a 1% better chance. Okay, so we said Benda, Sawyer Gorn Welch is walking. Christian Jones is walking. We all knew that. Tannehill Love, he's actually a guy that you've seen play. You've seen him play. What number is he? He's not 41. Is he 49 or something? Tannehill Love. Once I say his number, you'll say, "Oh, that kid." I should do it by alphabetical.
South End Zone Queen points out that Whittington walked last year. So there are these guys over the years that have walked and then come back.
Yeah.
I think they'd rather walk and then come back instead of like not walking and never getting to do it. So it makes sense.
Hold on. Instead of what?
I'm saying like they'd rather walk even if they have a chance of leaving than not walk this year and then decide to leave. Like if they're thinking about leaving at all, they're going to walk.
Well, Jake Majors isn't going pro. And so if he,
right.
Or is he? I don't know. Maybe he has predilections that he can go pro. I'm not sure. I'd agree with them. But to me, why is he walking right now if he's not?
He's going for the courses. Where does Majors think he's going?
Well, yeah. I mean, so I don't know. Like if maybe do you understand what I'm saying, Blake? It's like if he's, I assume he doesn't think he's going to go pro, right? And if he's doesn't want to go pro, I'd assume he won't come back for another year. But maybe, I mean, sometimes guys are just done playing football. They're just like,
Yeah, South End Zone Queen says maybe grad school. Maybe he's got a bigger school he wants to go to. I mean, who knows?
Maybe. Well, South End Zone Queen, so good to see you. But then.
I don't know his personal situation.
Is she assume? I'm not either. But we're here to talk about the football team, and he's the center. So what I'm say South End Zone Queen, is she saying go to grad school at Texas? Oh, maybe he's walking as a senior and he'll come back next year and start a grad school because he won't walk next year in the middle of grad school, right? That could make sense from his end. He'd be like, no, I'm just going to walk now with the rest of the senior class. These were my guys because I'm graduating.
That makes sense.
And then,
and again, this is his.
It'll be weird. It'll be weird to walk next year when I'm in the halfway through my master's degree.
He wants to walk with the guys he came in with. That makes sense.
Yeah. I think that's it. I mean, I don't think Majors is leaving. Money B says he's tired of helping Connor out. That's jeez. Money B. Okay. So Gabe Tannehill love. Oh, and he's number 44. You've seen him out there in the super backup rich games. Gabriel Lozano is a kicker. He's going to be out of here. We mentioned Majors. Peter and Poggy walking with the team. So good to see it from him. I don't remember exactly what happened with him, but I know it was a heart-related issue that he just had to, one of these deals, which is more important than football. He just had to take care of the whatever it was and kind of get that work done. And I think it's one of those deals that you just can't go back and play football after it. So, but he'll be walking with the team. Byron Murphy walking with the team. So see you later to the best defensive line tandem that I've seen at Texas. And I mean, just another reminder that we're cooking with peanut oil right now with this Texas team. We're cooking with grease. These are good players that are they're not going to be here long. These dudes are. I don't, you can't say that they're rentals because they've been here the whole time. But at this point, you got to think about them. Like, man, right now it's like smoke them if you got them, man. Use it or lose. Like, you're not going to have these dudes. They're going to be gone. Cody and I drew it up the other day. What did we talk about, Blake? Blake, it was how many players did we say we're going to go to the combine? What was it, 12, 13?
A ton.
It's just like it'll be like the Ohio State class was that one year where every single article that every single national reporter wrote was just like, oh, my God, it's the biggest class anybody's ever seen. If the dudes go that we expect to go to the combine for Texas this year, it's going to be like that. It's going to be the biggest story of the combine. It's like, do you guys realize that? Texas has and now is the time. Now is the time to go ahead and make good on it. It's time to cash in those chips, right? You
can't keep. Was the number? Was that including Sanborn too? We were talking about him potentially going.
Sanborn was one of the ones we included to get to 13, right?
Yeah. Okay.
And then Quinn, if you don't include Quinn, you can get down to 11. But there's a 11 that you can make you'd be hard pressed to make a case against them. After this last game, I might make a case to keep Ryan Watts from going to the combine, but that's a whole other issue. What do we got here, Blake?
This is from Craig Simlinger. I think he was calling this skunk here the Red Raiders mascot.
Is it seeing a skunk? Seeing a skunk is bad.
Is that a snake back there too? Back here, what is this? Or is that just a stick?
I can't tell. Can you zoom in a little?
You could. Hold on.
Oh, it's a pretty windy stick. I don't know, man. It's not. It doesn't. I can't tell if it's a snake or not. It could just be a little. Could just be a little. There's those areas that animals frequent. There's various unsavory substances and things on the ground that kind of leak out of these animals. Who really?
Well, Simlinger said. Funny thing about the pig. My brother bought the stuff that's supposed to be a monster buck attractant. You see what it brought in.
Yeah.
That is the attractant. Okay.
Yeah, man. I'll tell you guys. Do you guys want to know if Blake? You're talking about you have to drive through Llano sometimes, but there's a feed store called what is it called? Right there at the corner. There's a couple of them that are.
I can picture it. I forget. I don't know what it's called.
I'm going to think of it, and I'm going to tell you a product. I'm going to tell you a product that is like crack to access to here, and we're going to do that next.
Jason, it wasn't sexy, but man, it was a grown-up, big boy, get the job done kind of performance by the Texas Longhorns. It's the trickiest hurdle that they had to complete on the regular season schedule on the way to potentially 11-1 season and qualifying for the Big 12 championship game. Not anything that's going to make anyone across the nation do jumping jacks, but I think if you're a Texas Longhorn fan, you need to feel really happy about the big boy grown-up win that your football team brought home tonight.
Yeah, I'm trying to post my story here, and I said a lot of those same things. It's not going to win any style points, especially after what Oregon did earlier in the day. But this is probably, other than BYU, which BYU wasn't really a threat, but this was the best performance I think Texas has put together in the last month or so. I mean, offensively, defensively, special teams. And I say that with the understanding they did make some mistakes. Obviously, the fumble and some penalties took points off the board. It wasn't a clean, flawless game. I mean, 26 points isn't anything that we're all going to look back on 6 months from now and say, oh, remember that game when they were racing up and down the field? But I thought it was a good, gritty, just overall performance by Texas. And you said 10. My last words, 10-1, 10-1, 10-1, man. It's been a long time since we've been able to say that about a Texas team. So 10-1, which should be 11-1 by Friday night of next week, and a berth in the Big 12 championship game. So kudos to Texas. This is a tough Iowa State team going on the road in a hostile environment. You just knew Iowa State was going to kind of ugly this game up, and they did a good job of that for most of the game before Texas was able to kind of separate by a couple scores there in the fourth quarter. So a good win by Texas. I thought it was a good performance overall. I thought Quinn Ewers was good. CJ Baxter ran the ball well. I thought defensively, for the most part, they held up well, aside from really that one big busted play. But good win overall by the Longhorns. Special teams came up too. So, if you're a Texas fan, man, you should be real happy.
No matter what you're needing, Specs same-day delivery can save the day with our Specs app or online shopping. From world-class wines to hard-to-find spirits and craft beers to gourmet foods, delicious snacks, and spectacular sweets. It's Specs. Cheers to savings.
Oh, yes, we're back here on Football with Friends. Oh, man, we're having big fun on a Victory Monday. It feels so I always get this feeling in my stomach, this pit in my stomach. I'm sure Blake does too, man. We're going to come to the show and like no one's going to come watch and everybody's going to be tilted who does come. It's like there's three, it's like it'd be like Jay Ward, Hacker, and Craig Simlinger, and all they're doing is calling each other dirt balls in the chat and no one's even listening. It's like, but no, man.
10th Victory Monday of the season, Alex.
It feels good, man. 10-1, dude. It feels so good. Look, I told you that I was gonna tell you what to do. So here's what it is. I'll be leaving town on Wednesday. I'll be getting the house sitter all set up here and stuff like that, and I'll be going straight to Specs, getting some Casamigos, getting some electric jellyfish from Pine House, and just maybe a couple of nice bottles of wine to have when I'm all sitting all by my lonesome out hunting. And I can get it all at Specs. I can ask the guy, I'm like, hey man, of course I'm not going to eat any Thanksgiving food per se. Oh gosh, there's no way I'd eat any stuffing or any turkey or any cranberry sauce or any of this cockamamie meat food that we never, ever eat at any other time of year. But I'm going to be eating barbecue. Like, what's the best thing to pair it with? He's going to say, oh, barbecue is like there's this. It has hints of this. It has these kinds of notes, all the rest of it. I can get all that done at Specs. And then after I go to Specs, guess what I'm going to do? And this is the part that you need to listen to the most. Oh, first, Blake, show him my favorite casserole. This is, hey, that's the casserole that Uncle Alex brings to Thanksgiving if he was ever forced to go to one, which will be never. But look at look at this thing. You roll it up, and underneath it, they got all the tiny little bottles of Casamigos. It's perfect. It's perfect. The best casserole. Just a total Thanksgiving W's. Okay, so here's what you do. Listen to me. The place in Llano, and they're located all over. Blake, look up where this store is. The store is called Lissy and Eckel. Again, the store is called Lissy and Eckel. It's spelled Lyssy and Eckel, Eckel. And they have multiple locations. I know that there's one in Roosevelt, Texas, at one of the places that I hunt. There's one I always stop at Llano. on the way out to hunt in like Menard County, or if you're hunting out in Mason County or any of those spots, Brady, you have to drive through Llano to kind of get there. And I'm gonna tell you, if you're after access, what you need to get. Oh, do you have the Lissy and Eccles pulled up?
There you go.
Yep. They have a bunch of different locations. But listen, the product is called Stamina EX. The product is called Stamina EX. So I said it twice. So you have to hit me up on Twitter or anything like that to ask me what it was Alex talked about. But it's weird. I guess they give it to horses to kind of like, increase they give it to breeding horses, right? And it's a little bit expensive. It's like $30 for a bag, so it costs like probably 3 times as much as corn. But I tell you what, get that thing, get some alfalfa bit, like find a travel corridor, and you can just find like a place to put where like a little bit of alfalfa and just put some of that stuff. It smells like coconuts. And I was just told one time I was there, he's like, "What are you after?" I go, "Axis." He goes, "Well, all the guys who he's going for the corner says that sounds like a male enhancement." I think that's kind of what it is, but it's
for the deer.
But it's for horses. It's
for horses. Yeah.
It's for it's for breeding studs, right? But you just kind of put a little bit of that stuff around there with some alfalfa, just enough to where you can get them to sort of stop, right? Whenever they're walking through, they're not going to stay for long, but you need to have a way to kind of stop them for a minute to where you can identify the animal, make sure it's the one you want to shoot. That stuff stops them every single time. And the dude told me that all the guys who go out and they wrangle these things, they go out and wrangle the free range axis to try and breed them and sell them to, private leases and stuff like that. He says that's what they always come in and buy. I said, well, that's what they come in and buy. And he's like, are they good at trapping them? He's like, well, yeah. I said, all right, I'm gonna give it a try. It does work really, really well. Stamina EX. Okay. Back to from the horse male enhancement notes to back to this, or from the repurposing of the horse the horse male enhancement to this. Isaiah Nayer is walking.
Okay.
I
have to process that one. That's I don't know. My expectations for Isaiah Nayer have changed so much over the last 6 months. Like he hasn't seen any action since the first game.
Nope, not a snap.
So I don't have any expectations for next year for him either. Like,
I mean, there's certainly going to be less. I'm just trying to look through this, maybe if I can look through here and find the so if he's mentioned at all in here, maybe he's one of these guys that they mentioned as graduating, but I don't think I'm looking through here. No. He's mentioned. I can't. Can you believe Isaiah Nayer's mentioned 13 times in this document? My gosh. Okay, so yeah, he's not mentioned as somebody who's going to be graduating the same way that they mentioned like Byron Murphy's graduating early, all these other guys, right? So I think that means Nayer's probably gone. As Isaiah Nayer, we hardly even knew you. We hardly knew you. Doesn't he feel just like Troy O'Meary?
Oh man, a little bit. At least we get to see Nayer at Wyoming be really good at the college level. Like he was a really good receiver at Wyoming. So that we never really got to see O'Meary.
The weird thing about O'Meary the weird thing about Nayer, he is like O'Meary. He gets hurt during fall camp and he tries to kind of come back, but he's not as good. I guess he didn't get hurt twice like O'Meary did.
Yeah, O'Meary just kept getting big time injuries.
Yeah. But
as far as the disappearing act goes, sure, yeah.
Yeah, man. It's I think he's done. But I think probably he'll transfer somewhere else.
They have him listed as a senior on the Texas football roster, by the way. So I assume he's graduating.
Maybe, and it could be a Jake Majors. I don't want to say he's leaving, but I mean it could be a Jake Majors where he's not necessarily leaving, but maybe it's like South End Zone Queen was saying, like maybe they're just going to graduate school, but they want to walk with the rest of the seniors, because now is when you're supposed to walk, is when you're a senior and not when you're in the middle of your graduate studies.
You want to know what they have listed under, on the Texas football website. They have his profile, and it'll say, like, here's what he did before Texas as a junior and as a senior. Under senior 2023, all it says is named to the preseason watch list for the Reese's Senior Bowl. That's it. Damn.
You can hang that one up from the rafters, right? Okay. 2023, Isaiah Nayer named to the Senior Bowl watch list with the other 2,600 players that Jim Nagy said in, literally. Okay. Keelan Robinson's walking, no surprise. Ryan Sanborn's walking.
Sure.
What's Texas? I guess Texas needs to find a punter.
They can find a punter. I trust them. I trust them to find a punter.
They ought to call that.
He's been really good, though.
They ought to call that Pro Kick Australia. Feels like they've had a pretty good hit rate with those guys.
No doubt. Yeah.
Those
guys are everywhere.
Who was maybe one? Hold on. So Dixon was awesome, but what about his cousin? Was he as good? I kind of forgot about that guy already.
Buchevsky or something.
Yeah,
like that?
Buchevsky. He wasn't quite as good.
He was okay. He wasn't bad, but I don't think he was elite.
No one's ever the GOAT Dixon, man.
No, Dixon. He won the bowl game MVP for Texas.
I mean,
the bowl game most valuable player on the field.
Yeah. Let's see. Tavondre Sweat's walking. Jaron Thompson's walking. Ryan Watts is walking.
That's what South End Zone Queen was asking a minute ago about Ryan Watts.
He's gonna need to switch to safety, man. Jim Nagy was right. He's just not fast enough. Hate to say it, he's not fast enough. Look, man, I'm not here to blow smoke or tell you guys, something, cheer all the cheery stuff, or just here to cheerlead the team. I feel like I'm here to kind of talk straight. Like he's not fast enough to play corner in the NFL.
Mm-hmm.
He's just not. NFL teams are going to say he needs to play safety, and Nagy had it right the whole time.
He nailed it.
Should have listened. I got on my own kick that, man, his length kind of makes up for it, and it just doesn't. He got burned twice in this game. Twice. 2 burns in one game.
2 burns.
And in a game that seemed like, to me, man, do you know what I like best about this game, Blake? And this will transition well into so South End Zone Queen's asking, so will he be back? No, I don't think Watts comes back. I think that there's been enough discussion around Watts to where he's going to he's gonna want to go. I mean, I think people still are. I think people are still interested in him for NFL stuff. I think it's one of these things where he's going to come back and play another year at corner when he's getting feedback like you can't play corner in the NFL. He's going to say, well, what am I going to come back and do? Mm-hmm. So I think if he came back, it would look. It isn't like he's been just terrible, but man, the burns were bad this last week. If he were to come back, I think he would be pretty much welcomed back, right? I mean, I'm kind of interested now. It's like, what is his completion percentage allowed now after? So Texas basically has 5 corners that have played this year that are pure outside corners, right? Ryan Watts always plays the boundary corner. As far as these guys, so Terrence Brooks has a 50.54% completion rate allowed when targeted. Ryan Watts has a 56% completion rate when targeted. Malik Muhammad's got a 71% completion rate when targeted. Gavin Holmes, who didn't play in this last game, by the way, he didn't play on defense. He played on he didn't get a single play at outside corner in this game, but 75%. So Ryan Watts technically is behind now Terrence Brooks as far as the completion percentage allowed, but and in this game, guess what they had? It was the first time that I've really seen a whole bunch of this where they had Manny Muhammad coming in for Watts at the boundary corner and playing him ahead of him. So I think what we're looking at next year, the starters are definitely going to be Manny Muhammad at the boundary, Terrence Brooks at the field safety should Ryan Watts not come back. And I think it's a decent clue, right? I think it's a decent clue. If Watts came back, would it be worth making him move to safety? Is what Chad Gibson's asking. Oh, and we have a chat from Tom G. So or a super chat. Thank you, Tom G, the richest man in the whole chat. Thanks to all you guys, and even if you're not as rich as Tom G, you can always help the show out by just liking the show. That is indeed free. You can also subscribe. It helps out a ton. Like Blake said, for every new subscriber, that's 1% chance better of Texas making the college football playoff should they happen to win versus Tech and in the Big 12 championship game. So all right, so it's at safety. I mean, it's probably fine. Do you have the scholarship board pulled up, Blake, to where you can remind me?
Give me a minute. If you want to answer Tom G's super chat real quick, I'll pull up that scholarship board.
Okay, because I mean they are definitely going to be losing Catalon, Thompson, and Crawford. I mean it could be something that makes sense. Okay, I was reflecting on the Lombardi Award finalist. How does Brock Bowers make a finalist, but Sweat does not? These postseason awards are becoming a joke. What is the Lombardi Award again?
That's the Lineman of the Year award.
Brock Bowers is one.
Let me pull this up. Yeah. I'm seeing, hold on. Lombardi Award, I'm seeing 4 finalists. Joe Alt, Notre Dame, Brock Bowers, Georgia, Jonah Ellis, Utah, and Latu, UCLA. Or Latu. I don't know how you say it.
I think all those guys aren't all those guys what is the so let me just look up the wiki for the Lombardi Award. What do you need to be so the Lombardi Award, awarded by the Rotary Club of Houston, annually to the college football player. Is this right? Are we talking about the same Lombardi Award? The Rotary Club of Houston given to the player who best embodies the values and skills of the NFL legendary coach Vince Lombardi. Most recently, Will Anderson Jr. So they just think it's the best. Is it supposed to be the best? Supposed to be the best player in college football? What is it? What does that mean exactly?
I see National Award presented to the College Football Lineman of the Year, presented by the Rotary Club of Houston Cancer Research. But like you said, is it about character and like representing the values of?
Okay, to be considered for the award, you must be an NCAA FBS college football team member and meet the following requirements: be a down lineman, end to end, either on offense or on defense, setting up no further than 10 yards to the left or the right of the ball at the time of a snap. Well, I mean, I know I've seen a million plays where Brock Bowers is out that far from left to right of the ball at the time of a snap.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So, yeah, I don't know, man. I think that Brock Bowers is Tom G. One thing about Brock Bowers is he's incredibly awesome. You know, I can't get outraged over Brock Bowers being on a list of like the best college football players over a guy like T'Vondre Sweat. I think T'Vondre Sweat's one of the best players that I've seen in college football this year. I think he's fantastic, but yeah, I mean, well, he's saying tight end has the Mackey Award, taking away from the lineman is BS, and I get it, especially from a tight end who technically doesn't meet their own criteria 100% of the time. Maybe if it was like, say, like
Will Anderson won it last year, by the way.
Right? Yeah. So like Michael Mayer last year. Did Michael Mayer win the Mackey? I think he did. Right? Michael Mayer won the Mackey. Michael Mayer won the Mackey. That's an alliteration. But if you watched him for Notre Dame last season, he was always in line. He was always attached. He was one of these guys that lined up like Rob Gronkowski, and he would just line up there. He wouldn't be flexed off the line. All the rest of it. George Kittle was like that. Like somebody like that, I can see that being a dude who they say this guy fits in. What he's saying is if he was a dominant blocker, but he's not. He's a dang receiver. No, I get that point. It feels like he should be it feels like he should be ineligible because of the fact he does not. They would never give a lineman award to like Kyle Pitts from when he was at Florida, right? Like they're not going to do that.
Send your letter to the Rotary Club of Houston.
Yeah, Tom G. Tom G's so rich he probably donates to those guys already anyway. Just tell them you're cutting off your donations.
Yeah, buy a space on their board and then revote.
What does a Rotary Club do?
I have no idea what a Rotary Club is, honestly. I'm sure they do good in the community, but I don't know what they are.
Yeah. I think that's the thing where it's the Shriners that drive around the little go-karts with
They do stuff for the kids, children's hospitals, things like that, right?
All right. Oh gosh, David Hitt saying he's also a Bolitnikoff Award semifinalist. Well, here's the thing, guys. It's not a complete joke because he really is awesome. He's an awesome player. He's gonna be one of the first 5 players taken in this year's draft, where there's a million quarterbacks. But but 2 things can be right at the same time. I also think that you guys are right. But I think it's also a fact that the Bowers is awesome. So I can't get my heckles up too much about it. It's just, okay. So do you have the scholarship board pulled up? Because we're talking about safeties.
Let me see if I can zoom this in for you 1 second. Let me take the chat off the screen. All right. So we're looking at safety, right? So
yeah. Can you just read them out to me? Who's coming in again?
Thompson, Crawford, Catalan seniors, Taff a sophomore, BJ Allen and Larry Turner Gooden, redshirt freshman, Derek Williams, Jelani McDonald, Warren Roberson, freshman.
Warren Roberson, I forgot about him.
And
okay.
then JJR is a commit. And sorry if this isn't completely updated. This is just the last one I found. If it's missing anything, I apologize. But
I mean, they could use another safety. They can use another safety. It's gonna be Taff and Derek Williams next year, and that's fine. But you have Jelani McDonald listed as a safety, but he's a nickel corner. I mean, they're going to have to probably do something with him because Austin Jordan's going to want to play. Hey, how about the kick return from Austin Jordan, our guy? I was so tilted, man. I couldn't give Tavondre Sweat or Austin Jordan, man, 2 guys the Deep Dig just loves. I couldn't give him any credit for that play on the block kick, right?
Oh man,
right? It was a special teams play, but man, big time action there. Yeah, I mean, maybe that could be a reason. That could be a reason why, maybe Watts could think about coming back, but I think he's walking and I think he's leaving. I don't think he's coming back. What is Jose Rodriguez asking? Alex, our first couple drives, our O-line was getting pushed back. I don't think that's not exactly right. So don't know how to answer that. It's not exactly right. They weren't getting pushed back. They weren't all getting pushed back.
But I will say, to a similar note, why they were having more success. I think Sark called such a great game as it went on. I thought there were some phenomenal play calls throughout the game. I thought this might have been his best play calling game of the season. Even I was thinking about the Worthy play that he fumbled on with the reverse end around, whatever you want to call it. That was just beautifully drawn up. Caught them completely off guard. There were so many plays. I just, as it was going on, I was thinking, wow, that's a great play call. Even if they only scored 26 points, I was like, man, if the execution was 100%, they would have put up 40.
To be fair to Jose Rodriguez, I haven't got to the end of the offense yet. I started yesterday. I finished the defense early this morning, and now I'm on to offense. But the offense is gonna take me. This is like a break in my work. It's just to come and hang out with my friends here, right? It's so. I'll get back to it, and tomorrow we can talk about what might have happened from the beginning to the end. I do think that I'd have to think that a lot of it just has to do with CJ Baxter just maybe kind of getting warmed up too. I'm not sure that I'm thinking about it and the thing is, it's super fresh on my mind. I think I'm through 3 series right now, and so I've been watching the very beginning of the game. I have not if you think about last game, you think about just the horrible way that Christian Jones was getting pushed back. Sure. Hey, dude, we're Hayden Connor and Jake Majors getting pushed back. Yeah, dude. But it's they always do. It was a day that ended in Y. They always kind of do, I think that at the beginning of the game, here's one thing that I've noticed so far, Blake. I think CJ Baxter runs better in man and gap kind of power concepts than he does in zone, which is a lot different from Jay Brooks. And that was something that I felt like Sark was kind of catching on to and was keen to there, at least coming into the 4th series of the game. They started leaning into more of that stuff. So maybe that could be it. That's something that I'm glad that what is his name? Jose Rodriguez. I'm glad Jose asked that, because that gives me a thesis that I can test through the rest of the game to see if maybe something like that's true. That would be an interesting kind of take. So, it's funny. Naaman Roberts is saying, hey guys, please go watch Anwar Richardson question to Sark at the press conference. Sark's response was so perfect. Blake, do you have that?
Yeah, we're just
all
gonna
right.
play
So listen. I told Blake I loved his response to that too. It'll be a great segue into just dissecting what he said today at his press conference, the news, the notes, what it all means, and we're gonna get to that next.
You've talked a lot about culture being one of the reasons for success this season. Can you define it for me? I mean, like, what's on your list? What's on the items? What's on the checklist? Sitting in the front of the classrooms and showing up early, like, what is it?
How long do I have? That's a tough. I need like a semester. I should teach a class. No. I think this. I think first of all, and that's a fair question and a good question. I think the first thing about culture is organic. It is not a sign up in your building. It's not a T-shirt you wear. It's not breaking the team down and saying, "Hey, culture on 3." I think culture is organic, right? It manifests itself with the relationships that you build. I think that there's things that we talk to in our culture that are of the utmost importance. Commitment is really important to our culture. Discipline is really important to our culture, right? Accountability is very important to our culture. Mental and physical toughness are very important to our culture. Love is very important to our culture. Vulnerability is very important to our culture. Transparency is really important to our culture. So that's just to name a few. But I can't just say those things. We have to live those things, and then we have to have teachable moments along the way, A, to celebrate the guys that are doing those things, B, point out when maybe we're not, and then how can we fix it, and then how do we correlate that? Because who you are some of the time is who you are all of the time. And so if you want to be a disciplined football team when you take the field each weekend, you have to be disciplined when you're off the field. How do how are we in school? How are we in community service? All of it all adds up to that becomes your culture, because that is who you are. That's how we go about everyday life. For example, when we have a team meeting and that meeting breaks, I have the same few guys that early on would make sure the team room was clean. There was no Gatorade bottles, there was no tape, there was no trash. And a couple of those guys' names were Roshan Johnson and Bijan Robinson. Well, that elevated to, when those guys were gone, the running back room was the ones that cleaned up the team room. To now, when we break a team meeting, everybody looks around. And so it has grown from 2 guys that has grown into more, to when we go to the movies on Friday nights before a ball game, if we have a night game, everybody chirps up, pick up your trash. So I know those sound like little things, but in the end, those are really big things to me, because that means that's the way we're thinking all of the time. And if we're doing those little things, and that's why I say to celebrate the small victories, I really celebrate that stuff, because I think those actions and that behavior leads to the big victories, leads to 1st and goal on the 5 and your defense has got to get 4 stops, leads to 3rd and 12 backed up on the road and you convert a 1st down. I think it leads to those guys counting on one another, relying on one another, because they're doing the right things on a daily basis. And we're not perfect, and I don't expect our guys to be perfect, but if they can be coachable on and off the field and they can learn from one another, then we will continue to grow and our culture will continue to grow. But it takes being vulnerable. It takes being transparent with one another. It takes getting to know one another so that you can have some empathy for what a guy's going through, not just on the field, but off the field, where he came from, what's going on in his life. And we have to share those things. And so in the summer, we do a lot of culture work every Wednesday morning. Now, Friday night, I do a culture exercise before. That's the last thing we do before we go get on the bus, whether it's to go to the hotel or to go get on the plane. Like, we invest a lot in that. And I think that obviously, to me, it's paying dividends, because I think culture beats talent if your culture is really strong. Culture and talent together is a pretty powerful force, and that's something that we've tried to create here.
Yep.
Good
All
stuff.
right. Hey, man, what can you really say?
Best press conference of the year.
Yeah, man, it's just like, he just seemed like he's, Sark was on point today, man. It's like had some good answers. Interesting, it was a good question from Anwar. Seth Golden finally asked a good question. Leah Van asked a kind of interesting question. Leah Van's all like, "Did you know that you were going to be moving to the SEC when you took the Texas job?" I was like, "What?"
That really came out of nowhere, didn't it?
Just like,
hold
on. What is that? What is that about? But yeah, I mean, it was a good PC day. You could tell Sark's in a good place. And here's my deal. And look, we'll get into the press conference. Oh gosh, before we do that, we have to break down the deep dig on number 54, the Iowa State left guard. What is his name? Hubbard or something? Hufford?
Jared
Hofford. I forgot. Who cares? We're gonna break down the deep dig, because I did great. I did put him under the microscope and grade his every play of the game. Okay, but the thing, I think he's in a good spot, because for Sark, it's funny, man. Whenever he talks about that culture and all this stuff like that, for us in the media, and I hate to even like I'm not even gonna say I'm in the media, because in general I despise and loathe the idiotic and cockamamie media in any industry, but I am here talking about it. I do write about it. I'm saying I'm on the radio and stuff. I'm kind of, I'm in the media space, right? But I refuse to identify with them. Regardless, those of us who, let's just say, who are observers of the team, we look at it and we say, oh, is there a culture? It's like, who cares? It's a coaching buzzword, It's like Herman saying intentionality. We got to be intentional with everything, or we got to be alignment, like stuff like, just like, what? It's like, this is something where you have to hold on. Tom G, what do you get out of here? You are. Yes, I am the Med-Eye. That is what I am. I am certainly not part of this cockamamie media. Regardless, you hear these things and you're like, what is that? And like he said, it's not what he say. It's not like it's not a bumper sticker you can slap on the back of a, it's like none of that's right. Jay Ward with the coming from the top rope. It isn't like none of that stuff is. Obviously, it means something to those coaches, because they need, they're coming in to do a tough job. Man. They need a grounding principle.
Sarkisian has never won 10 games before, Alex,
and they need something. And when they get the opportunity, you need something to tether yourself to. You need like a rock within your program that's going to keep everybody from going out all over the place. You need that center of gravity, right? And that's really what culture is. And I didn't know, man, after that game, I was like, dude, they played an awesome game. And of course it wasn't perfect. They gave up the stupid pop pass to the tight end. They had Keaton Crawford with the block in the back on the big Worthy return. I mean, there were mistakes.
Yeah.
Worthy's dropping too many dang passes too, man. We can talk about that more, but it's like it happened again. So yeah, I mean, there were mistakes, but man, the way I was thinking, man, when was the last time that I saw a Texas team? They were kind of up. What did they play? What did they win by 10 points or something? They won by 10, right?
16.
In the end. And I thought to myself, when was the last time I saw them get in this spot like this and in the fourth quarter not make it to where everyone's pulling their hair out and saying, oh my God, this is about to go to overtime. They managed to put together a game plan, and I'll be able to tell you more about exactly how, because I was watching it live on TV the other night. I had kids around. At one point I had to go put down my son, and so I missed the play where they went for 2. I actually got on Slack and I said, "Why did they go for 2?" They're like, "To go up by 14." I was like, "Oh, geez, man."
Yeah, I saw you ask that, and I was like, "Oh no."
I was completely out of it. But so I'm just gonna have to watch it back and see. But I did feel like my general feeling through the game was, man, they kept that team at arm's length the whole time. It's like, do you know the thing wherever you got the guy kind of standing back like this, and there's a little smaller man right here, and he's holding him by the forehead, and the guy's just swinging at him, but he can't at him because his arms just aren't quite long enough. It felt like Texas was just kind of keeping their hand on little man Matt Campbell's forehead, and he's trying to swing and all he can, but he can't quite do it. Keep him at arm's length, just making sure that this thing didn't become another situation where people could start thinking like, dang, again, another one of these. And to their credit, in all but one game this year, when things have gotten that cockamamie and sideways, I think that it makes sense now to say it's like that feels like it's sort of a step in the culture. It's like the first step was learning how to close out those games, right? That's the first step. The second step is, dude, they say no slogans, all gas, no brakes. That isn't part of a slogan. That's a recruiting pitch. That's an attitude. That's the kind of thing that's on the periphery of the culture stuff, right? What did Sark say today about the culture? What were we just heard it, but I wanted to highlight exactly what his exact words were, the exact themes, right? What are the themes that he associates with culture? Okay. And those themes are commitment. And he didn't say it like this. This is me taking them out as he had said them, but these ideas, these grounding principles, right? Commitment, discipline, accountability, toughness, love, vulnerability, which he talks about all the time, which I'm always like, kind of is somebody that's just such a complete and total, just dominant alpha male like myself. Can't say that would be a very big part of my culture that I was putting together. Sark seems to love it. They like to get together and be vulnerable with one another, I suppose.
How many did he list off, Alex?
So commitment, discipline, accountability, toughness, love, vulnerability, and transparency. 7.
Okay, so it's not 5 core.
the 5 core
7.
values. Yeah. Do you remember that? Look at this dude.
This is an all-time great picture.
I mean, and that dude, I just love how it's tucked in, and I love how he's wearing the white compression sleeves and everything like that, with the neck gaiter and everything. It's like he's going all out, and he's got that thing tucked right into the khakis. Into the khakis.
When you were listing those off, this is all I could think of. I was like, oh man.
Yeah, let's see. Gosh, Tom G is saying that I need to be more vulnerable with him if we're really going to connect personally.
We got a super chat too here.
Okay,
let's knock this thing out. Agent Z, is it safe to put Sark at a solid number 2 from the Saban tree?
As the oh gosh, I'd have to go. I can't. I couldn't go on the record as saying that right now.
So obviously Kirby's number 1.
Yeah, and then I mean, do you consider? What about? Is Kiffin part of that thing? Who all is it?
Kiffin's a part of it.
Is Bill O'Brien technically part of it?
Jimbo Fisher is a part of it.
Jimbo's a part of it. I'd have to look at. I just have to look at I'd have to look at what the Saban tree is, right? I think I would have to look and see, because
Jeremy Pruitt, Mark D'Antonio, Lane Kiffin, Derek Dooley, Jim McElwain. I'm just going through the names that are listed. Mel Tucker, Steve Sarkisian, Butch Jones, Billy Napier, Mario Cristobal.
God, dude,
Jason Garrett.
I mean that's saying something.
Yeah.
You know, I think here. Can I answer the question like this? And this is probably a better question for Catch. You're better off asking me if Texas runs power to the left or power to the right better or something. You know, but I would say at this point, I would think if you were somebody who is kind of like a Catch or a Chad, like to argue about the the more kind of sports talky points, I would say at this point you could just certainly have that argument. Get going. And I think that you would have a lot of things to point to where you could probably win the argument. I'm trying to.
Is it a bad take to say Jimbo Fisher is currently ahead of him because he has a national title?
No, not remotely. That's an argument. Like
Yeah,
that's what I'm saying.
I think he has to be number 2. Just
it's part of the argument. No,
accolades.
I don't think anybody has to be number 2. That's just now getting into his first 10-win season after how many seasons as head coach. So
how many at Washington and USC?
I mean, I don't think that anybody can say it has to be him at this point. I think you can that can be your opinion. I think that you can. I think that you can make solid arguments about that. But I think that somebody else that's a solid argument from Blake. It's like Jimbo Fisher's. He's won a national championship. They're saying that
some of these on the list. It's like, okay, he worked with Saban for a couple years. Is he really part of the tree? One of them is like Brian Daboll.
Oh, well, I mean, you would probably have to put Daboll ahead of him. I know he's been bad this year, but he's
right. But I'm saying, is he a part of the tree just because he worked with Saban for like a couple years, or what's included in the tree is an interesting question. Like he did,
is Bill O'Brien part of the tree?
Like he was. It says Brian Daboll worked with Saban, Michigan State, 98-99 graduate assistant, and then Alabama 2017 offensive coordinator, quarterbacks coach. So it's like
he's certainly from the tree. So Daboll, and Daboll has
Dan Lanning, graduate assistant, Alabama 2015.
I mean, you have to put Lanning on. I mean, Lanning would be on the list.
It's an interesting list for sure. It's an interesting.
I think that at this point you can make an argument for Sark. I think it could be a good argument, but I think that there will be counter arguments against you that would also be good. And so that's why I'm saying I think at this point you can't just declare it, unless you just want to argue with people, which is fun. It's fun. It's fun to have these arguments. I mean, if you're at the bar, man, ask your friends. You guys will talk about it for 30 minutes and have some fun. But yeah, so that's all that's all good stuff. But just about the culture thing, just kind of wrapping it up, right?
Mm-hmm.
That answer to me, the reason why I thought it was so good was because the game did come at a time where I was like, man, why did that feel so like, why did that win? It was not like a huge win, but it was a win at night in a must-win game in a hostile situation in a spot where, it's just one of these times where you felt like, man, they could let him back into it. Thankfully, it feels like they've taken that next step. Now it just feels like a little bit of a further step. Do you know what step I would like to see this week versus Texas Tech? I'd like to see them take the step of where they go in and they just boat race a team. They just come in there, they're so confident. They're just like, dude, leave no doubt, right? Leave no doubt. I think that's the next step of culture to manifest itself on the football field. And like I said before, now's the time to do it, man. You got to smoke them while you got them, man. It's like what do they say about money, man? You can't spend it when you're dead. Like you can't. You're not getting back A.D. Mitchell and Xavier Worthy and Byron Murphy and Tavondre Sweat and I guess Jay Brooks is already gone, but Christian Jones, Jalen Ford. Just these are guys you're not getting back, man. Just use them while you got them, man. Go boat race somebody, man.
I think part of the satisfaction of that win is how it played out too. On the watch along, Catch and Chad were describing the game. It's like 6-3 at the half. The first half was like a UFC fight where the two fighters just were battling each other on the ground the entire time and couldn't get off the mat for 30 minutes. And then, like you said, it plays into Texas stands up and just starts beating on them, and holding them at arm's length. And then
Yeah,
once they got off the mat,
and
they
just
controlled
kind of not letting them not letting them into their body. Take
Mhm.
like when they show you a little something, how they do, and like not letting them into your body, but they show you a little something, and you just kick them. You give one of those
Yeah.
kicks down to their shins or their calves, and like you're like, man, golly, if somebody kicked me once, like I watched those UFC matches, and I say if somebody kicked me once like that, just one of those little kicks that they take just over and over, like you know how they'll find a spot on somebody's leg or something,
Oh.
that they'll just go after it and start kicking it, and they'll by the end of the match, you'll see that it's like pulsating and like
Just
purple
purple.
already. And I always tell my wife or my buddies, I'm just like, dude, if somebody kicked me like that once, it would probably crack my fibula, and I'd be laying on the ground calling for an ambulance. Well, I would. It's just wild. But Oscar Elizondo is right. That doesn't mean that I'm not an alpha, of course.
Absolutely.
Thank you, Oscar Elizondo. Let's see. Jose Rodriguez, what's he saying? I've seen Bradley play in a few tech things this year, and on the outside, and he's going to be a problem for us. They also might get Miles Price back this week. We need to shut that down, but it'll be a task. Hold on. We're going to start worrying about Miles Price? Look, I hate to overlook anybody, and I'm not going to do it. I realize he's probably their best receiver, but is Miles Price really that good a prospect? Is he that big a problem? I'm not. I think Taj Brooks is a giant problem.
Taj Brooks is a problem.
I don't look at Miles Price and say he's a big problem. All right, so let's talk about some of this other stuff that Sark said. First of all, he was right on time on a short week. That was
How
good.
about that?
Sark complimented CJ Baxter and Jaden Blue. And just like he said, man, he talked about how they controlled the game down the stretch. It's like I really loved how the game played out. I know it wasn't a giant win. I know it's something that's so meta, right? But we're all here to talk about the meta.
It was a giant win because they haven't won 10 games in the regular season in well over a decade. It was a big win on the road.
And you didn't feel, but that's the thing, is like, for some reason, even though it was kind of that there in the back of your head, kind of there in the pit of your stomach, I didn't ever feel like, I was just like, oh no, it's slipping away. We're in for another cardiac arrest game here. Sark said, did anybody else notice that he said that this is going to be their second night game of the year coming up?
Yes, I did. Yeah.
It's just like, but that's not right, is it?
Well, second night game at home, right? I think that's what he meant.
Oh, okay. I was like, dude, because I mean, there was one last week, and then Bama was night game. Well,
yeah, I think he was just saying
it home.
He was talking about the light. I think he was referencing like the light show and like the theatrics of a night game at home.
Oh, right. And we've seen that once. But do you remember what game that was? I'm sure everybody remembers. What was the home night game?
Oh gosh, who did they play?
It's not that meaningful, but now I'm just curious. I'm not going to be able to talk about anything until we get it figured out.
It was BYU, right? No. I
don't think it was BYU.
Was it Wyoming? Oh, it was Wyoming. Yeah,
Wyoming.
Kenny. Yeah, Wyoming.
That's Wyoming. That's it. Good call there, Kenny R and Tom G. All the guys with the one letter last names. Let's see. He said he talked about Tech and about, it's kind of like Jose Rodriguez was saying about how they had a tough start to the season where they were fighting the injury bug and everything. Like they were down to their second and third quarterback at times, looking real bad. But he just says you can see him getting healthier and healthier. But he said mainly just running the ball extremely well, right? And to me, when I thought about that, I have the same take about that as I do about because like I talked about with Iowa State last week, the whole Big 12, outside of Texas, outside of Oklahoma to some degree, possibly outside of Oklahoma State, although Oklahoma State to me looks like a shaky team, dude.
They're the definition of a shaky team.
Well, I mean, am I wrong to say that's a one-man team? Like that team goes as Ollie Gordon goes. That team goes as number 0 goes.
Isn't it a great matchup for Texas in the way they can just shut down the run? I think they would kill Oklahoma State.
It's not going to be easy to shut down that beast. I know we had the conversation before. Is he better than Jonathan Brooks? I'm not sure he is, but dude,
this Texas Tech Taj Brooks team is the perfect setup for playing Oklahoma State in the Big 12 championship.
Yeah, it's the same kind of thing. I'm telling you, dude, Miles, I'm knock on wood. Miles Price ain't gonna. He's not gonna. He's not gonna be the reason that he's not gonna be the reason that you lose. He's not. I can almost guarantee he's not gonna have one of these 11 catch Xavier Hutchinson type of games that we've seen.
Don't be speaking anything into existence over there, though.
Yeah,
like I said, 7 catch, knocking on wood, yard, 3 touchdowns.
Yeah, like I said, knocking on wood. I mean, Ryan Watts didn't do us any favors last week, right? As far as having confidence in who's going to be able to guard who.
Getting burned twice.
I could not believe on the second burn that was not the pass interference, but the second burn. Whenever he was in a clouded spot right there. He was only going to give the outside release. He was in a perfect spot just to run with a proper trail technique, and he just couldn't run with homeboy. He just couldn't. He didn't have the speed to run with him. Period. Yeah, but when he complimented Baxter and Blue, and it's about how in helping to kind of control the game offensively down the stretch, and it wasn't just the offense; it's like the defense held up their end of the bargain too, outside of outside of a few plays. I mean, they really did limit these guys.
You just had to have somebody back there to make sure that doesn't happen. But
it was just such a good call.
It was a great call.
It was just such a good call. I mentioned it earlier, but I mean, we'll see what I think about Baxter for the rest of the game. But gosh, I mean, pretty impressive. And you look on Prize Picks this week, his prop now is, or not his prop, his projection for your entry, not your prop for your bet, right? Your projection for your entry is up to 98.5 rushing yards, right? Was that what I saw earlier?
98.5.
Yep.
19.5 fantasy score too.
I like this, what Tom G's saying. Tech doesn't have a dominant receiver like TCU had with Savion Williams. I think that's true, but also let me be the first to admit I didn't see the Savion Williams thing coming. Right? I didn't think he was going to do that versus Texas. And to be completely fair, I just hadn't watched him as close as I did versus Texas. I didn't know that he plays 10 3/4 inch hands.
He's a freaky player.
He has hamburger helper mitts, dude. That just the ball, like, he's a good player. Let's see. Jose Rodriguez is asking, oh, dude, I still have to do the deep dig for old Hoffbauer. Alex, what is this question? Alex, is Broughton good enough to hold up as the main guy next year? We need Murph Dog back with the T-Sweat NIL deal from last year. Well, that second part's not happening, Jose Rodriguez. I hate to tell you. Byron Murphy is gone, and he's going to be a day 2 pick, maybe a late round 1 pick. Dude, two more sacks in this game. Just another day for Byron Murphy. He had the single most dominant Byron Murphy play of the whole year on the second sack with the bull rush, then just grabbing the quarterback with the one hand and just
Sweat and Murphy were just eating that offensive line up.
But you're not getting him back. As far as can Vernon Broughton hold up next year, man, as of right now, he's not going to hold up anything like the rest of these guys. He just isn't. We haven't even done the deep dig yet. Gosh. But I'll pull up the deep dig. All right, so that's how far I am through. That's how it looks when I grade every snap of the line. As you can see, the lines look pretty good through it. I think probably what they might have noticed here was, in the run game, I don't really have. That was a good one in power. That was a couple good snaps in zone. This was just an awesome power run. The second to last of the second series. This was a good power run. I'm telling you, man, these guys are running better in power than they are in zone when they have CJ Baxter in. They just are. Here in the 4 series, it looks like, so this was a zone run where, of course, Hayden Connor gives up the run stuff. But anyway, that's not what he was asking. If you just look at the snaps per production, so here's the new list for this week. And we have
Yeah, there we go.
There's no real changes at the top, right? Your top 2 tiers, as we've said, those aren't going to change. Jaron Thompson makes a big jump because he had the big pick and a couple other. He had a PBU and some other good plays, or not a PBU, but just a batted pass on a pressure. But
Ethan Burke at 7.65 is just, man.
Yeah, man, he's good. He's a good player. He had like 3 pressures in this game, all this stuff. But you got to scroll pretty far down here to get to Vernon Broughton. He's played 269 snaps. He's generating production only once every 15.15 snaps. He hasn't been effective. I mean, people talk about the Alfred Collins disappearing act this year. He's basically a third worse than Alfred Collins has been this season. So he's not been good. He's probably not going to be. Cody's bringing an interesting point up, man. It's almost like Anthony Hill should be in his own tier, but it can't be. It's like this is a bigger tier right here than the tier that goes down to 42. I think you might be able to get Jahdae Barron down into this next tier, though. You think? Is 64 and 59 close enough to? Technically Barron's closer. I'm going to actually move him down one.
I'm just going to say, I'm so glad we get 2 more years of Anthony Hill. we lose sight of, like, he's a true freshman doing this right now at a 6.0 clip. We're comparing him, in the deep dig to juniors and seniors at their height, of what they did at Texas, and being like, wow, look at this. He's matching their production. It's like, he's going to be here for another 2 years.
I like it how you said 2 years, because there's absolutely no way he'll be any longer than that unless he gets hurt. It's just too good. Do you know what was interesting in this game though, Blake? He didn't play. They got Benda in a lot more in this game, and Benda played well.
Mm-hmm.
Benda played well, dude.
Yeah.
So I think, what do you have, 2 TFLs?
Yeah, Benda made some plays.
Yep. So they basically made it now that when Maurice Blackwell goes in, Benda goes in. When they go to 3, it's like the opposite of the way that it used to be. And what they were doing last week versus TCU was they were just saying, look, Hill's just playing 89% of snaps, and that's that. And Benda's a total dusted backup. This game was like, no, actually, whenever they do go to 3 linebackers, whether it's three down linemen, 4 down linemen, whether it's a 6-man front or a 7-man front, it used to be they kind of started tapering off Benda by saying, okay, all right, well, we're just going to use you in sub packages now. And then it was like, okay, well, we're going to only use you in the sub package where there's 4 down linemen and 3 linebackers. Now they're basically saying, anytime we go to 3 linebackers, we're going to have Benda in there. Now, whether that was a game plan specific thing, I'm not sure at all. Right. But yeah, I mean, I don't, I don't know how else to explain the fact that if we just look at the defensive player participation from this week, how much different it was than it was last week whenever he was so for this week. So where's Anthony? So here's Anthony Hill right here, 55.6% of snaps this week compared to 81% last week, whereas Benda was back up to 44% this week, whereas he was at only 18% last week. So we'll see if that's sticky, whether that continues. I don't think it really matters that much if it continues or not, because Hill is just good and efficient whenever he's in there. If he's playing 60% of snaps or something like that, I'm not going to complain about a dude like that getting the majority of snaps, as long as Benda is not playing like a. I mean, here's the thing: if he would have been playing in that game like a guy that was below replacement level, they wouldn't have kept him in there. That's just a fact. He was playing well, and so whether they saw something in the game plan that really suited his skill set better or whatever else, he didn't do anything to make it be like bad for me to think that they only gave Anthony Hill that much. Cody sent in a super chat. Cody, what are you doing? Sending a super chat? You can just text me, brother. Where does Alfred stack up all time? Do you have separated like you do offensive line? I'm asking from an NFL perspective for snaps per production. Do you know what, man? I've never. That's a great idea, Cody. I don't have that thing for snaps per production where I have the historical chart, but I will make one this offseason because that'll be cool. I'll just start putting that in there. You can see
all the defensive players. Well,
yeah, like that. Yeah, that'll be great. But the one thing is that can only go back to 2015. That can't go back to 2013 because that's when I changed the snaps for production.
Gotcha. Still,
2015, you're talking
A lot of
15,
data.
16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22. It'll be 8 years of players next year that we'll be able to do it with. That's a great point, Cody. I should pay you for giving me that kind of.
But the thing is, he's asking where Alfred stacks up, and like, where does Alfred stack up even on this current team?
Okay, so what is Alfred at right now? So Alfred Collins, good game this week. I think did he have a sack? Did he have a sack? Yeah,
I think so, or at least half a sack.
Sack. He had a sack.
There we go.
What is his snaps per production at right now? So Alfred Collins, it's been moving up, but it's still bad. Like on the team, he's sitting at.
Yeah, it was Burke they gave half a sack. Alfred Collins had a sack.
Yeah, Burt half a sack.
Burke took half of Murphy's. 2.
What?
They gave Murphy 1.5 and Burke 2, or at least on this stat sheet they did.
Huh? I thought Anthony Hill got half of. Let
me I'll pull up the official Texas sports stats here in just a sec.
Alfred Collins is sitting at like 11.5. Cody, he's in the range of dudes like. He's not really in the range of like to be honest, he's in the range of a Ovi Aguofo or something right now. That's kind of the range. Trying to think of other dudes who've been kind of around 11.5 or something. I can look back. Like, pick a year, Blake. I mean, 2018.
2018, yeah, that's a good one.
Was that a year Texas was? I forgot if they were even that good that year. That was
2018 is the Sugar Bowl year.
Oh yeah. So deep dig. 2018, and I'll just tell you some guys who have around that kind of snaps per production. Deep dig 2018. Easy for me to say, right? So what did I say he was at? Was it 20? Was it 11.5?
Yeah.
Okay, so you're looking at guys like not quite as good as Malcolm Roach that year. Hey, it's better than Taquan Graham that season. Taquan Graham went to the Senior Bowl and he was 24.57. Now he had a lot of physical gifts, kind of like Alfred Collins did. DeAndre Christmas, do you remember? Oh, he only played like 22 snaps that year.
By the way, Cody is saying 1.5 for Murphy, half for Burke, and 1 for Collins, and that is what the official stats say as well. 1 for Collins, 1.5 for Murphy, half for Burke.
All right, then I need to go back and watch that stat because somehow I ended up giving, or maybe I gave Anthony Hill a half of a. Maybe I gave him a half of a TFL or something like that. Do they?
Anthony Hill had half a TFL.
Okay, I think that's what I'm thinking of. Right. All right. Thank goodness. I don't want to go back and watch them do that again.
I'm sure you got it right. I'm sure you got
okay. Anyway, so yeah, that's kind of those guys. I mean, you probably don't remember Anthony Wheeler, but it's kind of. I mean, he's basically right there with Anthony Wheeler. Not quite as good as guys like Caden Stearns, Chris Boyd. Below those guys, below Jeffrey McCulloch, who was a good player at Tech. I don't know if
the Shark.
Yeah, he was a okay player at Texas, a little bit of a flashy player.
Yeah,
it's basically it's been a borderline type of guy historically. I guarantee you, if I put all these guys in a list who played at least 100 snaps, each year, so it'd probably be what I say there'd be 8 years of them. So it would be a big encompassing list, probably be 160 dudes. I'll bet you'd be in like 80th place, something like that.
Well, what did Nagy say before the season? Grade the flashes, and he's a really good player. But everything else is like average.
Yeah,
just grade the flashes, and he looks amazing. But everything else just hasn't come together yet.
Yeah, and it's just super important that whenever you need everything to come together is when you're selling a home, and if you're doing it in the DFW area, there's nobody who you can rely on like Val Garcia. Look at Val Garcia at Valen Realty. Have you heard? He'll sell your house for free. My guy Val right there. And when I say my guy Val, that's not me just saying like that's not me peddling for a sponsor. That's not me just saying like, dude, this is my guy. Like he's one of us. He watches the show. He lives and dies by these Longhorns, and look, that's the smile of a man with a 10-1 football team that controls its own destiny. And that's a smile of a man who's going to save you money. If you work in the ministries or you work in education, he's going to sell your house for free. For free. There's just 2 criteria. 1, you live somewhere in the DFW area, and for 2, you work in education or you work in the ministries. Now, let's say you don't work in either of those, like me. I don't. but I can tell him I watch football with friends, and he'll sell my house for half price. That's a Val Garcia promise. He's going to, and a Val Garcia promise is as good as gold. You can find him at valenrealty.com. Of course, you can always email him, valgarcia@valenrealty.com. His phone number is 469-647-8729. And like I tell you guys every single show, if you know somebody in DFW, that's like the most important part of just me getting this messaging out, is for you to let your friends know, right, about Val Garcia, because when you save your friends money, that's money that goes right back into their pockets, that makes their lives better, that allows them to go do things like go on vacations or upgrade their kitchens or sock it away for a rainy day, whatever it is that they need. Val Garcia is going to be there to help, and he's going to do the best job for you as far as being your realtor, but he's also going to save you massive, massive, massive money. Again, Val Garcia at valenrealty.com. The phone number is 469-647-8729.
Alex, I have to stop down the show for a second because as guys are making their picks for the outsiders tonight for both the Texas game and other games around the country, there's been a line set on the Iowa-Nebraska game. The over-under.
It's
26 and a half.
26 and a half?
26 and a half. And Chad Hastings is taking the under.
No, he's not. Is he?
He's picking the under.
That whole Iowa thing has become, I mean, that thing is.
It was 30 last week, and Chad took the under and it hit. And Cody says the money will be on the under. Yeah, it probably will be.
We haven't done the deep dig on Big Boy, have we?
Nope.
All right, let's do that next.
So that's good news for Texas. 3rd and 8 created off of it. So Iowa State still has to convert here. And they're going 3 wides on one side here. Little 3-by-1 to the left on 3rd and 8. Becht is in trouble, and he's been sacked. And I think Byron Murphy just did that with one arm. Wow. You deserve that celebration, young man. I think he's being dealt with. 3/4 of his body was being handled by an offensive lineman, and he snuck an arm around and sacked the quarterback with it. He's being held, kind of. That's a little bit of a snag. Nice job by Byron Murphy. He gives the double blow the kiss to the crowd there. He deserved every bit of it. 4th and 17, and Iowa State has to go for it. Here's Texas's chance to really close the door.
And immediate pressure, good defense. Guys, don't hate me for saying this.
Say it,
Ball
kid.
game. Ball game.
There it is.
Longhorns take over with 3:20 to go in the game. Up 10. Iowa State turns the ball over on downs. Very professional, solid performance from this Texas Longhorns football team today. They're not going to win any national voters over tonight, right? Like,
Nope.
They won't get a lot of style points credit, but that's a really good second half performance for the Longhorns. In the end, they're going to run this clock out, Chad, or get close to it. But the Longhorns are going to get out of Ames tonight with a W, barring the biggest meltdown in Steve Sarkisian's coaching career.
Yeah.
It's just a matter of they've got good field position. They're going to be taking over. Hold on, where's the ball at? Let me look at the stat page real quick. I forgot where that ball was snapped. So Texas has the ball 1st and 10. Iowa State 47.
Yeah, just across mid.
Iowa State has 3 timeouts. But Texas is in complete control of this game.
Yeah, no doubt. And think about the contrast from last week. Last week we saw them give up it was a 20-3 run, correct? Against TCU?
Yes.
Won it 20-3. So in this one, it was 6-3 at one point. And now you're talking about 26-16. You just closed out that drive, get the ball back with a full 10-point lead. That's pretty big. So everybody can do that math on what they did. But this is where if I'm a fan catch, I think most of the fans on the chat can agree. This one feels a lot better. This one feels more substantive than what we saw last week because you're getting a 2-score. You have a 2-score lead right now with a chance to just close it out. But right now, it feels like a lot more substance to this team. You said it. Not a beautiful win, but man, you go to Ames, Iowa, and get stuff done. This is that time of year where sometimes you just got to win the game.
Oh, I mean, you just got to win it. You just got to win it, man. But I feel like they did more than just win it. Back here on Football with Friends, I'm Alex. Of course, Blake is here with us as well. All you guys in the chat. Man, but Blake, I got some bad news, dude.
Oh, no.
Awful.
Oh, no.
Have you seen the puny little pathetic number of likes that we have?
I have not.
It's like 49 likes.
49
There've been over 100 people in chat for the whole show. And those people come and they go. New people come and all that. By the time the show's over, there'll be like 500 people will have watched, and there's only like 49 likes. It's free to like the show. It's the one way besides super chats, and of course just viewing the show. Right, viewing the show is the most important. But the one way that you can show us that you appreciate what we're doing and putting this content out for free for 2 hours every day of our lives is that you can like the show, and of course subscribe to the channel. All right. Oh yeah. And if you guys have questions about the show, you'd like to contact me, like to email me if you're interested in sponsoring the show, anything like that, you always can. Alex@rosterwatch.com. Send me hunting photos. I have a rule. If a hunting photo gets sent to me, it goes on the show. Fishing photo goes on the show. Photos of kids holding up the hook 'em horns or whatever goes on the show, right? It basically, if you send me an email with a photo that we can talk about, it's absolutely going on the show. Who is Harrison telling Cody to shut up? He's originally from Chicago. Unfortunately, I can only like the show once. Well, thank you, David Hitt. I do appreciate it, brother. You know what? Sadly, very sadly, little known fact about me. I can't believe I'm about to admit this publicly. I'm not from Chicago.
Whoa!
But I will say this: I did happen to be born while my mother was at school at Northwestern in Evanston, Illinois. So even though she was still a resident of the state of Texas, got me home the minute the semester was over. Definitely, I can't say that I was born here in Texas, even though my family was one of the families that helped settle the hill country, like all this stuff on my dad's side. On my mom's side, they were Blackland Prairie, New Sweden, that whole area, Taylor. They said they came and they settled there. Just the other day, my wife was driving out to run some errands with the kids, and she was going through Taylor and New Sweden and all that stuff. And she drove by the old New Sweden Lutheran Church that my family had built their whole community around. So they'd been there forever. But unfortunately, very much like David Hitt.
Alex Dunlap, basically Canadian. That's what we're doing.
so I'm gonna walk around with my head in shame. All right, enough. Let's hold on. What? So is Cody in a is Cody in a?
I don't know where this shut up came from. That's why I put it up. It's kind of funny. I don't know what he's talking to shut up about. And he said, "I'm sorry, I take it back."
Okay.
Cody, you should join the guys more often.
Yeah.
And then Cody was just blindsided.
What, dude? Once the off season starts, I have some plans. We're talking with some sponsors and stuff. I think once the off season starts, we're going to try and have Cody on more often because honestly, Cody is one of the best guys about the draft there is, and I also want to hear a lot more what he has to say about these prospects and these camps and these high school camps and stuff like that. Cody bring a lot to that. So yeah, you guys will hopefully, if we can get things worked out, certainly see more Cody once the season ends. $4.99 from Just a Dude. Oh, I appreciate it, brother. Thank you, man. Thank you for the super chat. Okay. Like and super, my dude. Here's to dragging Tech and Quinn throwing for 500 yards and 4 TDs. Well, that's the kind of thing I'm saying, right? I'm saying this needs to be a drag race, like he's saying, a boat race, whatever you beat the brakes off, like Ketch says. You know, like I like to call it peeing on the rug, but it's not as much peeing on the. You don't want to pee on your own rug.
I saw you in the post game chat, by the way. I put your comment up there at some point.
Well, because homeboy was saying, because Ketch was saying, I forgot who it was, but he was saying that he was one of their team captains, and they sent out Sweat and they sent out Murphy to look that dude right in the eye during the coin toss. And he must have been like, oh man, like these are those 5 stars. And it's funny, man. Like I laid out every single bit of disruption that he allowed. I have good news and I have bad news. Okay, which one do you want to hear first?
Give us the bad news first and weigh in on the good news.
He's really not that bad. He actually had some good plays. I mean, the dude did have three knockdowns in the game. He's their best lineman. Like that's very, very clearly obvious.
Mm-hmm.
And he would have had a worse game if he wouldn't have got so much Trill Carter. Like he got a lot of Trill Carter. He was able to knock him down twice. I think who was the other knockdown on? I know it wasn't on Sweat or Murphy. I'll have to go back and look. But but here's the good news. He graded out horribly in the deep dig. Just a really, really bad grade. Can I share this thing? I could probably just share it. And you can see.
Was he the guy that Sweat beat to block the extra point too?
I don't know. I didn't grade that one.
Let's go back and watch that. I think that might be the case though.
I don't watch the special teams. That would be now I got to go back and watch because I'm gonna need to add that in, right? So here he is. So he actually started out the game pretty good. Got a knockdown kind of right off. Then here in the second series, like you can kind of tell here. If you just kind of look at his whole game, you can tell there's a lot more red than there is blue here, right? But he had a couple stretches of good, right? But overall, in the end, what's his name? We ought to just at least
Jared Hufford.
Okay, here it is. 54 total snaps, 2 pressures, 2 run stuffs, and 1 TFL allowed, 3 knockdowns. If you just over the course of one game, he's at 10.8 snaps per disruption allowed. Okay, now let's look at that versus history at Texas. That would be, let's see, how far down do I need to get to 10.8? So up here where I got Trey Hopkins in his senior year, 57.1. Got Kelvin Banks up here in the top 10. Christian Jones not far behind. How long until I get down to 10.8? Gosh, this is a long time I'm scrolling. It's a lot of players. Oh gosh, these guys like Cedric Flowers and Mason Walters, they're at 24 points. Golly, how far do I need to go down this? Oh right, it would be the worst of all time by far. And that's the guy running his mouth, and he wasn't, and he was not losing to 5 stars.
You tell me if that's him on the ground right there. Is that him?
Oh gosh, it sure would be nice, wouldn't it?
Is it? It's a 5. I don't know if that's 54, but
yeah, I'd have to go back and look. But yeah, so that's him. That's him. Hold on. Wait. Am I reading this correctly? This Whitey Tidies for Life is saying, joining late. Did I miss the Prize Picks plays? Who tunes into this show to get those bad Prize Picks plays?
Whitey Tidies for Life does.
Okay, all right. I figure of everything, man. It's like I have these stats that I created on my own, and this insight on the Texas team, and like all these fantasy models I've created, and all this different stuff. And like the Prize Picks is the thing I consistently do badly at. But hey, man, to each their own. Did have a good weekend on Prize Picks this last weekend, and it's a good reminder we should probably get into that. We'll touch on more of the defense tomorrow. We'll have all the offensive stuff. It's going to be a packed couple days, but just remember for your planning for the rest of the week. Oh, Tom G saying that's definitely him.
I think it is. Yeah.
Well, if that is, then I'm going to need to put that picture on the front of my article, right?
Because it's such a great picture. Look at this thing, man.
I'm not going to have time to write a column or anything like that. That's why I did the deep dig grade on that guy. I figured people would just like to see that, and then that would be the perfect picture to end it with.
I mean, awesome.
Yeah, I need to go back and watch and just make sure it's him because that's just too good.
Shout out to looks like Sports Illustrated. I'm not sure exactly who took the photo, but great pick.
Yes, thank you for allowing us to use your pick, Sports Illustrated. Okay. Speaking of picks, let's go to Prize Picks. Big game tonight for you, Blake.
I have a feeling Whitey Tidies for Life is tuning in so that he can fade our picks, Alex.
Is that it? Okay. Let me just see. So I'll get this thing pulled up. I think I had one of my better hits last night. Let's see. My entries. Past entries. I like this one. I had all these things on Harrison Phillips because they had Harrison Phillips listed instead of Harrison Smith. So I figured if I lost him, I could just email and be like, hey, why do you got Harrison Phillips listed? Like, he didn't have 3 tackles. He's an offensive tackle. I did like this one. The Ty Chandler, Brandon Powell, Will Lutz, Greg Joseph. These primetime kickers always get there. That's something that I'm going to remember putting this thing together tonight, unless they're super high, like 8.5 fantasy points. But usually they have them at 7.5. Remember, we have the Prize Picks promo code is Orange Bloods to get 100% deposit bonus up to $100. And also remember that it's free on Fridays to play. You just use your flex play. You need to opt in on the promotions page, and if you lose, you will get your you'll get your profits back on that, or whatever you lost, you'll get back on that. Of course, whatever profits you make, you'll keep, and they'll be your own. But they also
now, Alex, do we know if Taylor Swift is going to be at this game?
To be honest, I think Blake, can you actually? I hate to even have that discussion, but can you actually look that up?
I'm trying. I'm looking.
I think she won't be.
I think she's on tour.
Yeah, because Kelsey went down to Argentina to go visit her over the bye.
Yeah, I think she's on tour. So I'm going to guess no. I don't see anything about it.
Sounds like Argentina just had their big elections and stuff, man. A lot of Taylor Swift's down there. They're
I saw that election.
Yep.
And
hey, man. Hey,
that dude.
Argentina. Argentina. All right, but Christian McCaffrey, they have a 99% off for him on
Square
on Thanksgiving. So you'll get that when you take the more on his rushing plus receiving yards at 0.5. So that's something to keep an eye on as well. South End Zone Queen, thank you. So she has the scoop here.
She will be there.
Yes, she is. No, she will be. Okay. Well, I mean, we have to take the Kelsey overs then.
Kelsey overs all day. She's going.
And here's the thing too, man. The Eagles, they just do not invest in linebackers. They do not invest in off-ball linebackers. So it's just like Howie Roseman's an analytics guy. He's a beautiful mind, all this stuff, man. So let's go ahead and look at this. Do we want to go fantasy score for Kelsey? Do we want to? So 18 fantasy score. Roto Grinders has him at 14.
Oh, wait, hold on. South End Zone Queen says, actually, wait, no.
No, she's not.
This is changing all the projections.
Okay.
We have to hold on.
Okay. So yes, my girls are on this stuff. Okay, so Hacker's saying yes. South End Zone Queen saying no. Okay, so
families will meet. She had a show in Rio tonight.
Is it going to be the same vibe? You think if the mom is there, if it is Taylor Swift?
Man,
I'm not sure.
These are scenarios we've not dealt with, Alex. I don't know.
Man, I had it all in my head. I was like, perfect. Like his girlfriend's there because he does play better whenever she's there.
He does.
He does, and it's like Mahomes knows it because I think Mahomes is.
It's also the thing is they're playing.
I hate that I'm even having this conversation.
Hey, still take the Kelsey over because it's the Kelsey Bowl, and he's going to play good going up against his brother. I think.
Going up against his brother.
Yeah.
Okay.
There's some extra spice to.
What's he going to catch before we even look at this? Is he going to catch 8 balls?
Ooh, I would think so. Let me look at what has he recently been doing on that front as far as reception.
So it's projected at 7. He hasn't done it. He's going to catch 8 balls, Blake.
He's going to catch 8 balls. He's not going to be below that number 3 weeks in a row.
Let's look at the receiving yards. What do you think they have it at? 84.5 or something? That might be the move, Blake. Right, 75.5 receiving yards against the Eagles.
Yeah, I would take that.
It's the perfect kind of matchup, man. It's the perfect kind of matchup.
And South End Zone Queen says it's the rematch. Take the over. I agree. Chiefs in primetime in general means it's just going to be a wild game. Like either way.
Yeah, but isn't Andy Reid at home all like the under king?
Off a bye week.
Andy Reid off a bye is like the over king. It's like
exactly.
It's like it's what's that called? The unstoppable force versus the immovable object.
Yeah, that's exactly what it is. I think points are going to be scored. I think points have to be scored.
If I think Kelsey's going to catch 8 balls and go for at least, but if he catches 8 balls, he's going to go for more than 75.5. I think I like the 75.5 receiving yards. That's what I think I want. But with the fantasy stuff, you can get helped out so much with that if he just catches the touchdown. Is he 50-50 to score a touchdown? Because if we put him at 8 receptions for about 80 yards or something like that, we're going to need 3 more points to get over. That's half a touchdown. You know, I'm not sure.
I'm not sure we've had a game with so many deciding factors involved.
Do we just want the receptions?
I think take the receptions. The receptions is easy, I think.
But not 75.5?
They're going to feed him. He should hit both. Like, I think he goes over on both. But
All right. We'll take the receptions. I like that. And then
I think at a minimum, you're going to get a push on that 7 number for sure.
What did I just talk about? The kick. So the kicking. So the fantasy score. Let's look at the kickers. Jake Elliott.
You got a lot of plays in the chat as well, too.
He's 7.5. You take it. Harrison Butker's 8.5. I don't know if I want to do that.
Cody says Taj Brooks is at 100.5.
That's a lot, man. I might take the under on that.
I might take the. Yeah, I was thinking the same thing. Might take the less on that. I think.
What are they saying in the chat?
70 or 80. We got. Let's see, Baxter at 98.5. South End Zone Queen go under on Brooks and over on Morton. Alex, how many other plays we got here? AJ Brown yards over from Money B.
Hold on.
Kadarius Toney receiving yards
likes
over from
over. What, dude? Cody, like, why? What is it? Is it like 13 or something? 6.5. Oh, well, he'll go over that, won't he? I mean, he stinks, but
6.5. Yeah, he'll get a catch. He'll get a catch for 10 yards.
I just know I'm going to be like, Kadarius. I know what it's going to be at the end of this game. Be holding my phone, Kadarius. Ah!
Because the thing is, you know he's going to have like 3 opportunities to catch the ball. So it's just like catch and run.
Well, what about Rashee Rice? He's going over this, right?
Yeah, I think so.
45.5. They need to get him the football. They're not going to win if they don't get him the football.
Yeah. Rice is turning into the go-to guy besides outside of Kelsey.
Should we just – and do you know what,
South
man?
End Zone Queen says Philly kicker always gets me points.
Yeah, I've already got him in South End Zone.
Okay, you got him in.
Dude, of course – dude, Devontae Smith goes into GOAT mode whenever Dallas Goedert's hurt historically.
Zach Cunningham tackles plus assists over 7.5.
Who's saying that?
Money B.
Money B's usually smart with those tackles plus assists. I might do that.
That's an interesting one.
Oh, 7.5. That's a lot, man. But he's gonna be tackling Kelsey.
Julio Jones, 11.5 yards.
No. We can't do that.
That's from Cody.
You know what? Let's go with Money B. Let's go with this more. I like this card. Let's see if we can win 5 honey. See if we can go big into Thanksgiving.
Let's do it.
Let's do it. Get some Black Friday money. Go get that half price off First Light kit or that Cooney kit.
Yes. By the way, Cody sent a picture and confirmed it is 54 that T'Vondre Sweat is leaping over to block that extra point.
I'll be getting that into my article for sure. Which of course you can always find on orangebloods.com every week. You have a couple articles there a week. If you didn't know, I do a little bit of writing too. I don't just sit up here and yap all day, but it's what we do from 3:30 to 5:30 every day. Of course, it's Football with Friends. It's always fun as hell. We can't thank you guys enough for always being here with us. It would not be a show without the chat. And we still have one more show this week before we pack up the bags and go our separate ways for Thanksgiving and before Texas goes their hopefully goes their winning way into DKR to take on the Texas Tech Red Raiders. So until tomorrow, for Blake, I'm Alex.